consideration. So for the first resolution, we're amending resolution number 260533, approving the board meeting agenda policy and authorizing the clerk to administer agenda guidelines.
Okay.
The second resolution is authorizing the clerk to sign the notice to legislative authority from the Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control.
Good.
The third is accepting an updated plan language within the summary plan descriptions relative to the buy-up and base medical prescription plan for plan year 2026.
Okay.
Entering into agreement with Franklin Township relative to the fiscal year 2025 CDBG grant entitlement program.
All right.
Authorizing the president or vice president of the board to sign amendment number 2 to the cooperation agreement with various communities relative to the CDBG entitlement program for years 2027 through 2029.
Okay.
Issuing an RFQ for the procurement of design build services relative to the Warren County Master Plan Phase 2 projects.
All right.
Approving appointment to the Mental Health and Recovery Board serving Warren and Clinton counties.
All right.
Entering into contract with Vital Course Strategies LLC for medical services for the Warren County Jail.
Okay.
Can I go backwards for a second? So what, the design build stuff for phase 2, what are we thinking there? What's going on?
So if you recall, they were doing that master's facility study to look at the next phases after we did the county court and then the suppression garage off campus. And it looks at specifically the facility study looked at the facilities building and then ultimately the Health and Human Services, the gas station as well, and the Health and Human Services building.
So there was a master plan and then this was a component of it, or now there's a new one coming?
No, there's not a new one coming. This is a component of the facility study, but what you have in front of you that I think Susan gave you yesterday as well is where the potential locations of the facilities building and the HHH building and the gas station would sit there and be. But in order to get a magnitude of cost to bring back to you to see if you're interested in pursuing that, we need to go out for an RFQ process, Q&P process, to get some design build companies to come in and say, yes, this, and I'm making up a number here, but this cost would be $6 million for the facilities building. Do you want to move forward with that? Because it all has to be done sort of in stages, is that you would have to procure, if interested, the facilities building in the back, do that first, and then tear down the current facilities building to then move the HHS building over on top of where facilities is, because what their desire is just to use the joint larger parking lot we have instead of creating like new parking spaces and those items. So this is just to get us to a point where Trevor has the ability to come back and say, based off of what we've done, commissioners, this is what it would cost us, and are you in favor of that? And if I'm not mistaken, Lisa has already started sort of saving for those items when they come to you, if so interested. Did I miss anything from your perspective, Susan? No. Okay.
All right, thank you.
So the next resolution is approving change order number 1 to the contract with Fillmore Construction for the Sycamore and Mulberry Street Improvements Project.
Okay.
Entering into an OPWC cooperation agreement with Deerfield Township. And the final resolution is accepting the resignation of Martin Russell, County Administrator, within the Commissioner's Office, effective August 28th, 2026.
Hey, Crystal, we did pull that contract with City of Franklin.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
pulled- Okay, you read it, that's why I just.
Oh, did I?
Yes,
I'm
I just want to make
sorry.
sure we did that.
So do we have anything else on the regular session?
Yeah, the public hearing.
Oh, okay, yep, okay.
You got to vote to
But I was gonna
approve
say
those
you did.
resolutions.
Yeah,
Yep, I have a motion to approve all those.
and yes. Very good. First agenda items, hold a public hearing, consider text amendments to the Warren County subdivision regulations. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Cook with Warren County Planning. I'll be presenting the proposed subdivision regulations updates. So going over the review process, this went to the subdivision review committee back in April. That also went to the regional planning commission where we requested to advertise. Then we went back again to the regional planning commission executive committee for a public hearing. Now we're here before you for the decision on the proposed amendments. So I'll go over a quick summary of the proposals. So under section 201 definitions, we're updating the definition of access point. Also adding new titles for street and private street, clarifying the differences between the two, removing subdivision active. And we're updating the on-site sewage treatment system definition to align with health department standards. Also looking at section 311. Final plat requirements, statement to add to make it clear that final plat section shall be recorded in sequence. Section 315, final plat application procedures to clarify that any first final plat shall be recorded within the allowed time for the approved preliminary. And then under 322 minor subdivisions, clarify where the roadway thoroughfare easement shall be located when we have minor subdivisions. Number 325 is removing the word record plat to comply with final plat. Section 403 traffic management, we're planning to remove criteria number 7. Number 403 traffic management G, clarifying streets versus roadways. Number 403 traffic management I is a new section that outlines the requirements of and extensions for private streets. And then finally, section 802, revisions of a final plat after approval, removes the requirement for all owners to sign a revised preliminary plan application where all lots have been platted, and also adds language that we will notify owners within a subdivision, giving them the opportunity to go before the regional planning commission to identify if they are injuriously affected by the proposal. And then we're also just adding a definition of what that means for if they are injuriously affected, and that'll be ultimately determined by the executive committee. So I can't get into detail about those, but those are a brief summary of each proposal. I could certainly answer any questions if you guys have any.
Bruce, what are we doing?
We're clarifying mainly as all these subdivision text amendments are doing, and ORC 71110 requires a public hearing by the Board of County Commissioners to adopt these.
Very good. Any discussion on
No,
this?
fine.
So I do have a resolution here. The resolution is approving amendments to the Warren County subdivision regulations.
Do we have to,
Yeah, give an opportunity for
Right.
them since it's a public hearing.
Very good. Yeah, since it is a public hearing, anyone wish to comment on these changes to our county subdivision regulations? Not everybody at once. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
got a
Well,
motion to
let's close the
the-
public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
And yes?
Okay, and now I have a resolution approving amendments to the Warren County subdivision regulations.
I'll make a motion that we pass the amendments as described.
Second, roll call?
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Grossman?
Yes.
Very good. And you- Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can open the session and then everybody
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're having some changes to our agenda items since our third colleague is not here this morning. We want to be respectful of her and make sure that she's involved in a couple of these important discussions. Anyone have anything to bring to the board this morning?
I'll report just briefly on the fair if you like.
Absolutely.
So they haven't got all their final numbers, but I'll give you some preliminary numbers that they've got. Their total fair income this is preliminary, was $591,803. Their expenses were $413,266, and their fair profit was $178,537. The junior fair livestock sales, this is the money that was, brought into their auctions to the 4-H kids for selling their animals. In 2026, that total number was, of the sale items, was $910,006. That is significantly increased over 2025, which was $773,339. The Feeding Our Neighbor project, they had 16,534 meals from 35 hogs sold at the sale. They sold this year 552 memberships, 1,521 weekly passes, and 24,147 daily passes, which is an increase over previous years. And they should have the final numbers, and they also had drones, and they've got drone pictures, and they've got some overhead reports that we'll be presenting next week, or at our next meeting.
Yeah, that's great news that the fair, number one, had great weather, and number two, had so many interested parties that dedicated their time to go out and do work and try to fix up the facility. And people that actually cared and had a vested interest in it. So it was a noticeable change in the facilities, the attitude, everything about it. Just even the signage, they were treating it more like a business activity. I think Fair Board President told me that just for the signage, they sold more than $70,000 worth of advertising, which is something they've never really done like that in the past, to my knowledge. So good for them.
And they had increased sponsorships, a lot more excitement at the fair, and it seemed like, they've really had with their new management a lot more volunteerism. So there were a lot of people out there that were helping, as you noted, Commissioner Young, which helped to beautify painting, cleaning, doing all sorts of things that really made the fairs look much more beautiful, and I think it was really enjoyed by all. I was out there frequently, but and I took a tour as you did. So I'm very pleased with what's occurred, but I'm going to give a full update next week.
Speaking of volunteer, I heard you volunteered to drive in the demolition derby. Is that true?
Well, no, I didn't actually do that, but.
You were offered. I was offered.
Were you?
I said I can't even ride a roller coaster now.
Well, you got there to that Reds camp, so I think you were probably, you could have taken your Discover, probably would have done a pretty good job. You probably would have won. All right.
Well, good. Mark and Susan?
The only thing, since we've shifted the agenda around because of Commissioner Jones not being here, just want real quickly, something that was going to be on the second meeting is just give a brief update from Assistant Prosecutor Nice. We did have a call with Alta Fiber on Wednesday of last week. He is currently working with them on an agreement, termination agreement, and is hoping to have that back to you hopefully next week. Susan and Lisa then will look at leftover dollars and how they would recommend kind of pushing those ARPA to other places. So it was actually a pretty productive meeting with them, and I think we are all in mutual agreement. So I think Adam will be presenting that next week.
So they were agreeable to just backing out?
Yeah, actually, Susan and I talked. We were just pleasantly surprised with the call. The call went well, and I think that I think what we're looking at is what they anticipate to be the amount of doors that they will be able to get by the end of the year on a very conservative manner. Allocate those funds to them, and then whatever is residual left over, see what we can reallocate towards other things. So yeah, it was a good call.
And by the way, maybe we've already reported on this. There was this discussion a few weeks ago about having a levy on for parks, and their board got together again, and they voted to rescind that. So they're not proceeding with that. And I know, at least from my standpoint, they've asked to meet with us, and I think they probably are asking to meet. I think Ben Yoder wanted to meet with everybody. In addition, I understand that there's gonna be a vacancy on their board, and I don't know whether we can have some input into that.
They're appointed by the probate judge, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
I don't know that doesn't mean that you couldn't have input, but it's done directly by the probate
Well,
judge.
so that's Judge Kirby.
Correct.
Obviously, we know him quite well, and I'm wondering, Bruce, is it appropriate for us to provide names or give input to the judge?
I'm sure he would be receptive of that.
Okay, so I'd like us to look into that, to provide him with some recommendations. Because I think that Wendy Monroe is leaving, her term is up at the end of this year.
I guess then we could, obviously when we do our summaries and different things, but if you as a board if you have any, we can think about folks, but if you can give us some recommendations that you'd like us to, give to Judge Kirby, we're more than happy to do that.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's appropriate, yeah, and again, it's the judge's decision, but we certainly have the right to say what we think. And so, he can certainly, do that. I would advise us, yeah, to think about that, because I think the importance of that board was shown through, and for the public's sake, that I think that's something under Ohio law to be considered, that you have an unelected board of as few as 3 people that can literally put a tax levy on your ballot. So that's important stuff, and that raises the stakes on who do you put on these quote-unquote volunteer boards. And these are people that can literally raise a question of taxation.
Well, not only that, I think that it was helpful, I'm not being critical of the 2 board members that voted to put the levy on, they've rescinded it now, so I really appreciate that. But also, Wendy Monroe voted against that, which provided some opportunity for us to request a rescission. So I think that our recommendation and help to get somebody on that board, I think would be propitious.
All right, well, yeah, since that's the ARPA update that was scheduled for the next session, and our executive session that was scheduled, we think is of enough importance that we want all 3 commissioners here to discuss that, and to be respectful of our colleague, we will defer that discussion. One more chance, anybody else wish to discuss anything with the board? We appreciate you all showing up. We've got nothing else?
No.
All right,
All right,
entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And,